According to the computer simulation, as long as he devoured Android 17 and 18, he could evolve into the invincible state of the perfect body. But this bright prospect was ruthlessly broken by the appearance of the female Super Saiyan. He thought the computer's calculations would never be fulfilled, but who would have thought that there was no way out? He was lucky not to die but also unexpectedly break through into a higher level than the perfect body of lightning form, becoming more perfect. At this time, he had no fear of the female Super Saiyan. Just when Cell was ready to show off his ambition to rule the world, another girl with a silvery glow appeared and played with him. Where are all these women from? Why are there so many horrible guys on Earth? Powerful female Saiyans, mysterious silver-haired women, what is wrong with this world? No one came to answer this question to Cell. His share of lamentation or hatred of being born at the wrong time unknowingly made his face become hideous. The silver-haired girl watched Cell's face turning, the corners of her mouth curved high. This Cell's luck is really no good. How good he is in this world, the world with Ayaba, Ayaka, and the others, he is already doomed to tragedy. If the time machine takes him to another parallel dimension, maybe there is a glimmer of chance. Speaking of which, he will have to be more tragic later. Shaking her head, ugh, what do I care about this, one more lesson for him, and let's go back. The silver-haired girl mused, but the movement in her hands was not slow. She moved, just like a heavily armed tank, brutally rushing towards Cell. Bang bang bang. Pop. A kick and a punch landed solidly on Cell's body, hitting Cell without temper. Not knowing whether intentional or unintentional, she picked the vital parts that were prone to severe pain, and within a few minutes, Cell had been ravaged by her. She was grasping the hard insect back armor. Click. A brute force tear, even tendons, and flesh from the Cell body ripped off. Snapped and crushed the opponent's shoulder blade. A few minutes later, the girl innocently picked up the pale, bruised, and battered Cell. At this point, he had very little ki left, the body's aura had long disappeared. With eyes half closed, blood flowing from the corners of the eyes and lips, like a dog in distress. Tisk. Idly shook his head, the silver-haired girl like throwing garbage Cell casually away, pop, a sound, the dust stirred. Boring. The silver-haired girl sighed lightly and turned her head to leave. At that moment, a cluster of shiny dark red electric energy waves from behind attacked, dark red energy speed cut through the void, the fierce sound of breaking air, the ground cracked a straight line. You're looking for death. The silver-haired girl turned back, and a cold electric aura flashed in her eyes. With a flip of her palm, the dark red energy wave underwent a 90-degree turn and flew far towards a mountain. Swoosh! The young girl's body moved and appeared in front of Cell, and then in the other party's horrified gaze, her fingers kept gesticulating up, more than 1,000 thin lines emitting glittering cold light like tough steel wires, winding and folding. Damn! Cell did not have time to think. His ears have sounded hiss, ear-piercing sound, that emitted crystal-cold light of tiny lines actually weave into a dense windless grid, flat sweeping over his body. Click, a subtle vibration, Cell's stunned expression was frozen, the whole person was cut into a piece of tiny particles. With a crash, Cell turned into a pile of mud. Cut. Only one death is considered a bargain for you. How dare you sneak up on this lady? The silver-haired girl pooh-poohed, full of disgust. Immediately, her small hand scratched a few times towards the sky, a deep crack formed in the air, a trace of ancient and desolate atmosphere from the crack. The silver-haired girl lingered to look outside, with a gentle leap, she jumped into the crack and disappeared. The young girl's deep sigh echoed in the air. Cell game continues, when the time comes for a change, they should be able to handle it, right? In the lookout, Ayaka and others remained frozen and speechless in the lower realm long after the silver-haired girl disappeared. Everyone, including Ayaka, was shocked by the super strength shown by the young girl. The opponent was the lightning form Cell, the equivalent of Super Saiyan 2 strong, but she was calm, and the final disappearance of the hand all reveal the opponent's extraordinary. Powerful, lightning Cell is actually like vegetables in her hands. Krillin's whole body was trembling. Her strength is at least Super Saiyan 2 beyond, perhaps much more so that she has been playing when she fought me. Ayaba's tone was a bit gloomy. Anyone who knew they were being teased couldn't keep a light heart. After a year of training in the hyperbolic time chamber, her strength was already very close to Ayaka's. Ayaka shook her head and said, "That woman's strength is certainly above me, not as simple as Super Saiyan 2, really is unimaginably powerful. Good thing it doesn't seem to be a hostile relationship with us. Otherwise." What Ayaka really scared of was the way she disappeared, cutting through the void, just like when she crossed the space sandwich. In short, this woman was full of mysteries. If she was a friend, so be it, in case she became an enemy, she didn't dare to think about going on. That was definitely a desperate enemy. The key, she was ruthless enough. What really makes me care also? Why would she know that the cell game will change in a few days? Could she be able to see into the future? Unfortunately, that young girl is always wrapped by the silver aura. The temperament appearance has a large blurred point. Otherwise, there may be a few clues. Piccolo said. Wait, Cell is not dead. Cell game will continue? Krillin asked. Stupid. That woman only killed Cell's body, but did not destroy the core, so Cell is not dead through. Android 18 hit without mercy. She was so whole, the recovered Cell will not be more powerful, or we should kill him completely now while he is still recovered, right? Krillin's expression was first white and then suddenly suggested with interest. There's no need for that. Ayaka didn't take Krillin's advice and said, even if Cell recovers, his strength won't change much. Why? Before the breakthrough completely, because Cell once had the experience of the perfect body, the body cells have memorized the perfect body state, coupled with their own strength is at the threshold of the breakthrough, only then the power is greatly improved, turned into lightning form. But this time is different. The Saiyan cells are not omnipotent, and rebirth will pay a huge price. I think within a few years, Cell will not have any progress. This was Ayaka's speculation about Cell. The fusion of many strong genes was not perfect. Cell's congenital birth had already predetermined his achievements. He belonged to a special life form created by computers, born not to meet the requirements of the laws of the universe. Although he had advantages of the Saiyans, the Namekian and the Frozen clan reflected in Cell. It had deprived him of the most basic advantage of ordinary life form's evolution. Yes, Cell was not able to evolve, but only disguised devouring to obtain a breakthrough. The activity of Saiyan cells brought Cell a strong sense of combat, the Namekian genes made him less prone to death, the Frozen clan made him able to survive in the universe, but all this was limited within a huge framework. Beyond this framework, Cell could not continue to get stronger. This was why Cell needed to devour Android 17 and 18 to evolve into a perfect body. If he wanted to break through by himself, it is basically impossible. Inherent defects were the hurdle in front of Cell. That's good, and I was worried that Cell will experience a near death like the Saiyans will be greatly enhanced, otherwise who can stop him then? Krillin patted his chest and breathed a big sigh of relief. Well, Cell is not enough to fear and can be ignored for the time being, but the silver-haired woman referred the change that we need to be vigilant, what she can call a change, certainly not a trivial matter. Ayaba interjected. Although she and the silver-haired girl look at each other disagreeably, they also recognize each other's strength. As soon as it was mentioned that a change of heart might occur during the Cell game, everyone looked at each other in eerie silence. There are still 3 days left to guard against anything that may happen. Everyone should use these 3 days to work harder. Speaking of which, Ayaka was helpless. A total of 3 days, there was a limit to the time for a person to enter the hyperbolic time chamber, and the rest was just a matter of fate. By the way, where is that Vegeta guy? Oh, He woke up and ran to the hyperbolic time chamber, until now has not come out. Vegeta was seriously injured by Cell. As punishment for trespassing, Ayaka did not allow anyone to heal him. Lying for 5 days, after waking up, Vegeta's face was blue, his self-esteem suffered a severe blow. Of course, the Saiyan Prince, this honorary name existed, let him almost corrupted. He asked Bulma a few senzu beans and ran to hyperbolic time chamber. It seemed that he would not stop until he made a breakthrough. Well, let him be. I hope after this incident can give him some lessons. Ayaka also didn't hold much hope. If he had not entered the hyperbolic time chamber, she might have beaten him severely as a warning to others, but since he slipped first, this account would be recorded for later. Android 17 and 18, your energy is eternal. I wonder if you can grow your energy through practice. Android 18 was wearing a loose casual suit and a pair of light blue jeans underneath. She stuck both hands in her pants pocket and shook her head. I haven't tried this, but it should be possible. Android 17 and I are both human bodies, and we just have some extra nano-level machinery in our bodies used to maintain constant energy, so we should be able to do it with practice. Deeply looking at Android 17 and 18, Ayaka lightly smiled and said, well, then, whether it can be done or not, the next few days, you and Android 17 will go into hyperbolic time chamber for practice. They had heard about the magic of the hyperbolic time chamber, and then look at Android 17, 18 nodded in agreement. Somewhere in the northern hemisphere, in the mountain range, Mount Paozu. The king and the accompanying officers were riding in a large aircraft. The king sat on the seat, looking out the window in silence. He was about to meet Mr. Son Goku and wondered if he was willing to stand up for himself like the previous times. Looking at his previous performance, he indicated that he was a decent and kind person. He must be willing to do it. Even if Mr. Son Goku was willing to fight for the Earth, the question was whether he and his companions were sure of defeating Cell. Thinking about this problem, the king only felt a headache. Your Majesty, we will reach our destination in 10 minutes. An officer came over and reported. Well, everyone gets ready. When we see Mr. Son Goku later on, we will concisely state our intention and do our best to persuade him and his companions to go to that Cell game. The king took a sip of tea to refresh himself and instructed. Your Majesty, from the incident of Demon King Piccolo to the alien invasion, Mr. Son Goku has stood up for himself, which means he is a peace-loving martial artist and will definitely participate in the Cell game, for the sake of peace on Earth. I hope so. The cabin fell into silence, and the king looked blankly out of the window. In the tense flight, time passed little by little, flying over several mountain peaks, a flat and short hill gradually came into view. On the top of the mountain, a luxurious villa was built, which looked out of place with the surrounding area, and by now, it was already smoky with cooking. They had arrived at Mount Paozu. On the country road, Son Goku and Son Gohan in casual attire, one carrying a large bucket, carrying a fishing rod cheekily towards the direction of the villa. When they reached the flat platform in front of the courtyard, they saw a large aircraft docked in front of the house. Goku, you're finally here. His Majesty the King has been waiting for you for a long time. Chi Si-hai shouted in surprise when she saw Son Goku return and hurriedly pull his clothes towards the house. King. Son Goku was a little confused. Inside the house, the king saw the blonde-haired, blue-eyed appearance of Son Goku, excited to pull up Son Goku's hand. Mr. Son Goku, finally I see you. You are the king. Yes, Mr. Son Goku should have heard about the demon who threatened to destroy the world, right? Son Goku suddenly realized, you mean Cell. Yes, we came this time to hope that Mr. Son Goku and your companions can participate in the Cell game, held by that demon. You have defeated the ferocious Demon King Piccolo and the powerful aliens. We have analyzed that only powerful masters like you are among the martial artists of all mankind now to save the world. The feeling of being praised was very good. Son Goku scratched his head in embarrassment and laughed out loud. In fact, there are more powerful than me, of course, even if you do not come to the king, we also plan to participate in the Cell game. The king stood up with a red face, excited. Mr. Son Goku, you said all true? Huh, don't worry, my companions and I will participate, and we will be able to defeat Cell. Son Goku was full of confident statements. Please, Mr. Son Goku. Except that there is only Mr. Son Goku's family here, I wonder if your companions. Oh, they are all in intense training, and they cannot take time for a while. The king nodded indistinctly and hurriedly bowed to Son Goku together with the accompanying officers, after which he left contentedly. Goku, that Cell is so abominable you must defeat him. His Majesty the King just promised to let Gohan go to the best school, to receive the best education. For Gohan, you also have to work harder. Chi-Chi was worthy of being a mother, and she put Gohan's future in the first place. Previously he was very opposed to Goku practice, mainly because he was worried that the atmosphere of practice affects Gohan's education. But now Gohan had been good grades and was expected to receive a better education, how could she oppose? Moreover, Chi-Chi itself was not opposed to practice. Before giving birth to Gohan, she was also a great master. Your Majesty, listening to the tone of Mr. Son Goku, with him and his companions participating in the Cell game, the hope of winning is quite high. The officer said with a joyful face. The king smiled and nodded his head and came to do very thorough thinking, and he just did not expect the other party to agree so quickly, worthy of the god of martial arts Master Roshi's disciple. He had a big heart. And his wife was also a good wife and mother. If Ayaka knew about this, he would snicker at the fact that Chi-Chi's gaze was only 1 inch long. You go down to make arrangements, let the army to prepare a group of professional camera personnel to do the whole live broadcast of the Cell game tournament. The commentary candidate let that the World Martial Arts Tournament host do it. He and Mr. Goku are old acquaintances, with many times, the commentary is more original. Yes. Time passed in a tight schedule, Ayaka, Son Goku, and others were making final preparations for the Cell game. When the Cell game was placed, the near-death Cell Gad recovered. After the rebirth of his strength, although there was a slight improvement, his heart was rather hanging up. Under an unknown glacier, a cluster of dark green figures frozen in the ice, bzzz, the ice suddenly vibrated a few times, a few narrow cracks produced, spreading around the spread. Under the glacier, groups of polar sea fish seemed to sense the crisis, such as inserting a high-performance antenna to receive signals. The whole group suddenly turned the direction, fleeing away. The calm polar, because of the abnormal performance of the fish, the small fluctuations infinitely magnified. Riptides surged up under the ice. Hey, Ayaba, after waiting for so many years, finally this day come. When the time comes, I will make the world shrouded in darkness so that all people will die in despair. An angry roar rang out under the ice layer, and for a moment, the entire ocean began to boil. Time was like a huge gear clicking and crushing, leaving a tooth and a grind, and 3 days passed in a hurry at a constant walking speed. The Northwest Central City 28 KS5, where the Cell Games were held, a small place that was not well known, had already gathered the eyes of people from all over the world. Just as the news reports had advertised, the tournament that would decide the fate of the Earth was about to be held here. Mr. Satan, the greatest warrior and fighter that mankind had ever seen, would be here to meet the challenge from the jumping clowns and poke holes in their tricks. In the center, there was a square ring with a side length of 100 meters, and a pointed stone pillar was erected on each of the 4 corners. Cell stood in the center of the martial arts stage with his eyes closed. Not far behind the rocks, a reporter in a black suit and his camera team was carefully hiding there with high-resolution cameras poking out, pointing at Cell, and sending signals to the world. There are still 20 minutes left before the Cell game begins, and perhaps because of the fear of being swept up in it, there is not a single person in the area. Cell is still standing motionless in the center of the ring, and our big hero Mr. Satan hasn't shown up yet. Wait. The reporter crept on top of the rock shelf, through the binoculars, suddenly saw a black object approaching. It soon came near the Cell game ring, and it was a limousine. Mr. Satan wore a cloak and dressed fancy as he stepped out of the car. When the reporter saw who was coming, he pointed the camera at Satan and shouted in a colorful manner, "Oh, it's Mr. Satan, Mr. Satan is really here." The reporter was excited and crept closer to Satan with the camera team, with the camera constantly shifting between Satan and Cell. Satan made a victory gesture and laughed exaggeratedly, "Humph, you guys go pity that crazy Cell, he still doesn't know that there is such a strong person like me in the world. He boasted about it, and it's too late to regret it. Don't worry. I'll beat that guy into submission." Idiot. Cell saw the interlude over here, but he didn't care about it. Ah, the champion of the World Martial Arts Championship, even the arrogant Cell can't hide his fear in front of the bravest man in the world. Amidst a steady stream of boasts from the reporters, the camera gave a big close-up of Satan, who crossed his arms and laughed maniacally in triumph. Satan's wildly laughing face was transmitted to the whole world through the camera, and the world boiled over for a while. Satan, Satan. See, that fool Cell doesn't even dare to retort. Go Satan, destroy that abominable demon. We support you. Show that guy the power of our earthlings. Strong cheers erupted from the crowd in the streets and alleys, and they all looked excited and laughed and shouted, as if the moment Satan appeared, the scales of victory had fallen in their favor. Cell, your plot has long been seen by me, you used bombs in all your fights with the army, right, but none of this will work against me. I am the champion of the World Martial Arts Championship, the bravest man on earth. I will expose your lies in front of everyone in the world and beat you to the ground with claws and teeth. Satan held his chest, full of confidence. For a time, he was infected by his own heroic image. He even forgot that everything was a lie he had woven, boldly climbed into the martial arts ring, twisted his buttocks, accompanied by a ghost face, and constantly provoked Cell. In the face of these provocations, Cell's face was calm, and he was not interested. But his eyelids jumped, this fool was really a noisy human. Oh, Mr. Satan, the other side does not seem to hear. That is certainly. He was hit by me, pretending not to hear, in fact, the heart has been scared to tremble. Ah, what a shameless guy. But the whole world believed Satan's words, and they all cheered and looked forward to the big hero of their hearts to come out sooner and clean up that guy who cheated the whole world. At that moment, the show began, the sky lit up with several blinding points of light. Opening golden eyes, Cell's cold face finally expressed, the corners of his mouth showed a faint smile. Son Goku and the others are finally here. Flying in the forefront is surprisingly Vegeta, forgetting the pain of the good scars, he may have learned some new moves. Tang! 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 A dozen beams of light fell, Ayaka, Son Goku, and other warriors arrived as expected, standing on the side of the martial arts ring. Falling from the sky. Satan's jaw nearly dropped to the ground. No, this was probably a pre-prepared wire for stunts. Thinking that he had easily figured out his opponent's trick, a confident smile spread across Satan's face. Son Goku, Vegeta, and the two mysterious women hum, surprisingly, even Android 17 and the gang of Earthlings are here. Counting the people who arrived, Cell disdainful sneer. These people were afraid that only Son Goku and the two mysterious women were worth his attention. The rest, like Vegeta, Android, were just to the protagonist to add green leaves of the accompaniment. Cell thankful that the silver-haired woman did not show up, as long as there was no woman in, Cell confident that the next thing would go on according to his script. Hey, who are you, people? If you want to see the fun, hide away from me, don't disturb Mr. Satan to save the world. The reporter reprimanded loudly. At this time, a member of the camera team whispered to the reporter, they seem to be the same people who appeared in the martial arts video that was circulated before. Oh, so they're with Cell. Did you hear that? Why don't you go back down? Satan generously waved his hand and said daintily, they are flying in, it seems they are also proficient in Cell's blindfold, but I have seen through their techniques. Look at the lighted light on them, and they should have used some high-tech tools. For Satan to poke through the other party's blindfold in such a short period of time, the journalist comrade admired it a lot, and his head nodded like a chicken pecking rice. If they really want to see the exciting battle between myself and Cell, why not generously let them watch? After all, it's not easy to come all the way here. We need to have a broad-mindedness. Satan rambled on. Ah, Mr. Satan is worthy of being the world champion. This broad-mindedness is admirable. Hey, Hicks, don't thank Mr. Satan's generosity for letting you stay. Satan squeezed his hand. Of course, I'm really sorry if their originally set script was disrupted because of my appearance. However, I feel the need to bravely stand up for the sake of maintaining the fairness and authenticity of the fighting field and expose the shameless deception of these villains. Where did this group of idiots come from? Krillin was very speechless. Since he wants to challenge Cell, let them come first. If he dies, then use the Dragon Balls to resurrect him. Ayaba snickered, but looking at their faces, I do not want to resurrect them. The time passed a little, the time to start the Cell game arrived. Satan was the first to walk into the ring, facing the camera with his hands raised, and then discreetly took out a stack of green bricks from his bag, stacked into a pile, a total of 15 stacked together half a person high. Looking at Satan's juggling body dance, Krillin was ashamed to be an Earthling, looking at the calm expressions of Ayaka, Ayaba, Son Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Piccolo, Iam, Son Gohan, and other aliens, and asked, what is he doing? He wants to show how powerful he is. Piccolo said coldly. Hiss, Krillin sucked in a breath of cold air, looking at him like this, let's just go. Ayaka waved her hand and smiled, wait. It's not too late to see the might of Satan. Okay. Satan took a step back, took a deep breath, and then with a roar of, ha, his palm slashed down like a blade. Crackling, 15 large green bricks had broken, the last one left. Satan exhaled and rubbed his palm with the other hand. The room was silent. Krillin, Yamcha, and others watched in awe. 15 3-cent thick green bricks fell with one palm, but there was still a piece left unbroken. On this strength, still dared to participate in the Cell game? He had no face shame, especially in front of Ayaka and the powerful Saiyans and androids. This face, the people of Earth couldn't afford to lose. As if nothing happened, Ayaka very solemnly said, he is a master. Oh, Krillin laughed dryly. Cell, you see this pile of debris? This is what will happen to you in a minute. Satan confidently pointed at the broken bricks. Cell glanced out of the corner of his eye and was silent. Ah! This strength is so shocking, worthy of the world champion Satan. I am deeply moved. The reporter gripped the microphone tightly and reported to the world with an excited expression. Quack quack. A flurry of crows flew by. Son Goku and the others were dumbfounded. Were they wrong to come to the Cell game, with the mighty Mr. Satan around? Was there any need for them? Boom boom boom. The sound of sharp spirals from far and near, the sky appeared a few military aircraft. The planes descended to a certain height, a series of soldiers carrying cutting-edge camera equipment jumped down, after which a thin middle-aged man in a black suit came down. As soon as he saw Son Goku and the others standing next to the martial arts stage, the blond middle-aged man's face looked happy, and he quickened his steps to come up. Ah, Mr. Goku, Mr. Tian Shinhan, Miss Ayaka, it's been a long time. The blond, thin middle-aged man was the host of the previous World Martial Arts Tournament and was specially appointed by the king this time to take on the role of commentary for the Cell game. Son Goku looked at the middle-aged man suspiciously, recognized him for a long time, and called out in surprise, "It's you. What brings you here?" "Hey, I'll be the commentator of this tournament. If there is anything I don't understand, I hope you can correct me." If you have questions, just ask. You are a professional host of the martial arts tournament, your commentary is much better than those idiots. Ayaka glanced at the clown-like camera team not far away and gave the blonde host a small shout-out. Ah, thank you very much then. As the saying went, it was good to have someone in the court, and the blonde host was experiencing it, and it was much easier to get closer to these superpowered people when they were commentating later. He knew how big the gap was between each other was. To see a strong person like Ayaka was really very lucky. The blonde host was very excited, like seeing a naked beauty, his eyes eagerly aimed at Son Goku and others. How many years he hadn't seen a high-level match, his heart was like a knife for him who was drunk on martial arts tournament commentary, and this time the Cell game must present the most exciting tournament to everyone. The game with Son Goku and other participants was the most original martial arts tournament. This moment, as if back to the World Martial Arts Tournament many years ago, the host couldn't help but have a feeling of tears. Commentary is no problem, but that super high-speed battle scene, the general public cannot see. Krillin kindly reminded. Hey, we've been prepared for this problem. The blonde host confidently thumbs up, pointing to the cameras carried by the military people on the side, said, to let the whole world see the game clearly, we have specially prepared several ultra-fast motion capture cameras. The picture is ultra-clear and ultra-frame, only 1,000,000 trillionth of a second for one imaging, which can slow down the local picture to the extent that it is visible to the naked eye. Ayaka looked at the sophisticated camera devices in surprise and complimented, you guys are quite well prepared, so you don't have to worry about some people confusing the audience. The blonde host grinned a little, that's for sure. This time, the king gave a special order that these images will be published in the name of the army, with great authority. He then instructed the group to hurry to set up the camera equipment, but he tiptoed to Piccolo, and whispered, Demon King, wait, you can go all out, do not worry about destroying the venue, it is best to kill Cell as well. Piccolo said coolly with his head turned away, Ayaka and the girls are much stronger than me. You should count on them. So Miss Ayaka has become that strong. The host nodded his head in realization. Shouldn't we pull down that clown-like person, let him keep stirring up trouble like this? I'm worried that Cell will kill him in anger. Yamcha looked at Satan, who was making a big splash in the ring, and the TV station line that kept adding fuel to the fire, with an unhappy face. Ayaba agreed, yeah, that guy is really disgusting, I can't help but want to kill him. I'll go drag him down. Krillin said jumping on the martial arts stage, making a pause gesture to Cell, then walking in front of Satan and grabbing him by the collar. Ah, what are you doing, can't you see I'm ready to destroy that liar Cell? Oh, I see, you are Cell's accomplices, do not want me to reveal your deception. Satan figured it out with a moment's thought and looked at the little bald man who was pulling at his collar with an angry face. I was trying to save you. Krillin's face turned red and he wanted to drop this guy with one hand. You are not a match for Cell. If you want to live, hurry down. Hey, guys over there, Mr. Satan kindly let you stay here to watch the battle, how can you disturb Mr. Satan to save the world? The TV reporter brought his face closer and yelled in discontent, pointing his camera at the stage and saying with righteous indignation, friends in front of the TV, those guys of unknown origin are trying to stop Mr. Satan from saving the world. Or maybe they just don't dare to let the truth be put in front of the public. Who are those people and why are they stopping Mr. Satan, do they want to destroy the world? Damn it. Get your ass down here, we're going to let Mr. Satan defeat Cell. I've seen them before, they were in the old martial arts videos. Someone in the crowd shouted. Didn't they say that was a blindfold, they must be in cahoots with Cell. The radio footage was sent around the world via satellite, and people were immediately talking about it. Some were puzzled, some were contemptuous, but more were angry at stopping their beloved hero, Satan, from saving the world. The only one who can save the world is the most powerful Mr. Satan, and they must be in cahoots with Cell if they won't let Mr. Satan do it. Shit. Krillin saw that the camera was actually aimed at him, his face became unnatural, plus Mr. Satan, who still kept screaming in his hand, his heart was on fire, and he punched Satan in the arm. Click, the sound of broken bones came. Letting out a cry of pain, Satan immediately began to roll on the ground. You are displeased with your courtesy. Get up immediately. This is not a place for you. Krillin snapped. Whoa, that hurts, my hand is broken. Don't you know that I'm the world martial arts champion Satan? Satan yelled, still unable to distinguish the occasion. It's hopeless to be so strong at this point. With a flip of his hand, Krillin lifted Satan and threw him outside the ring. With a snap, Satan's bloodshot eyes went wide in the air in a perfect parabola, and he landed on his butt in a solid heap. The room fell silent. The radio reporter wiped his eyes in disbelief and watched in awe as the world's most powerful Mr. Satan was easily thrown out of the arena, not knowing what to do. But the camera actually captured the scene on film. Watching the world's most powerful man being defeated in one fell swoop, the world was silenced and silent, then exploded into a boiling frenzy. Mr. Satan was actually thrown out. Is the blindfold they used was also so powerful? So strong, they are real experts. They did not use the blindfold. Satan is the liar who deceives everyone. Mr. Satan is a veritable world-fighting champion. How could he be a liar? It's just that those guys are so strong that they are completely beyond the realm of humans. Could it be aliens? Look at some of them have dazzling blonde hair, some are covered in green, and there are redheads, they must not be Earth humans. No, there should be Earthlings among them too. I remember they were introduced in the video of the World Martial Arts Tournament. When Krillin jumped down, Yamcha smiled and came over and said, "Not bad, this is awesome, showing your face in front of people all over the world." Krillin laughed bitterly, if that Satan weren't so insensitive, I wouldn't have bothered with him. Krillin did the right thing, that guy is too disgusting. He really think he is invincible, now his head hit the horse's hoof, a big loss of face. Ayaba said jokingly. The TV reporter also reacted, trotted to Satan, and hurriedly helped Satan up. At this time, Satan touched his head with one hand, the other hand dragged helplessly on the ground, whimpering in pain, his face full of blood. Mr. Satan, how are you hurt badly? Wow, it hurts so much, what are they all? How come they are so powerful? Satan, even if he was stupid, knew that those people were not something he could mess with. At this time, the blonde host also jumped out at the right time and said to the ultra-high technology camera, "The one who just struck is the disciple of the god of martial arts, Master Roshi, Mr. Krillin." Mr. Krillin is one of the few great masters among human beings, who has participated in the World Martial Arts Tournament for many times and achieved remarkable results, and was also one of the main forces in stopping the alien invasion a few years ago. Taking this opportunity, the host vigorously promoted his professionalism as well as the information held by his insiders, releasing the complete information about Krillin to the world. What I'm saying is those martial arts club videos from the past are real and approved through the government. And they are the protagonists of those martial arts videos, and I will introduce you to the super fighters of the earth. The blonde host narrates as if he were a family man. The camera follows the host's narrative and keeps turning, skimming from Tian Shinhan, Yamcha, Kaiotsu, and others one by one, then resting on Son Goku. The next young man with blonde hair and blue eyes called Son Goku, also a senior student of Master Roshi, and was the champion of the 22nd and 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, is the most powerful man on Earth. And Son Goku has saved the Earth twice. It was Mr. Son Goku who stepped forward to wipe out the Demon King Piccolo when he wreaked havoc on the world, and it was he and his partner who later stopped the alien invasion in one fell swoop. And Son Goku contestant sister, Miss Ayaka is also a remarkable master, was the champion of the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, but unfortunately Miss Ayaka only participated in one tournament, so the tournament rarely saw the heroic figure of the young lady. The host regretted it. This time when the Earth is once again facing a crisis, contestant Son Goku and his companions are once again stepping up to fight to save the world. The blonde host was worthy of being a professional host of martial arts tournaments, and knew how to raise everyone's passion, turning the atmosphere to the highest point in just a few words. Why are they so strong? It turns out they are all hidden masters. I've seen their match videos, and now it's confirmed that those videos are all true, so Satan is so far behind them. Listen to what the host said, so I seem to have some impression. The child who fought with the great demon King Piccolo was Son Goku as a child. It turns out that Mr. Son Goku has saved the Earth twice. I did not know that. This is the man of the world. After the matter is gone, do not leave credit and fame. After Krillin cleared Satan out of the field, the real battle between the masters was considered to have begun. Even the amateur camera team clearly felt the atmosphere had changed, a stern feeling to the face. Son Goku smiled faintly and took the lead in the martial arts ring, standing with a calm facial expression opposite to Cell. Seeing Son Goku came first on the stage, Cell was a little surprised and smiled confidently. I didn't expect you to be the first one to come up, I wanted to save the interesting ones for later. Son Goku did not respond, just a serious look of stance. Cell bore a smile, with more in his heart, his cold face gradually gaze up. Swoosh, with a flash of light, Son Goku disappeared in place, with a lightning speed to attack Cell. Cell, of course, also began to respond. The two cast out a comparable level, one attack and one defense, attack and defense, the move was sharp. Faced with Son Goku's attack, Cell's body kept flickering and changing, always with a bland smile on his face. Crackling, without seeing the people in the martial arts ring, the audience only to heard the sound. Ayaka, androids and Dragon Ball warriors had sharp eyes. Naturally, they saw the fierce fight above, enjoying a rare live-action audiovisual feast. But Satan and the TV camera team was dumbfounded. The ring was constantly flashing gold, thunder and lightning, the sound of snapping fights, but they could not see a trace. Boom! A corner of the hard martial arts stage sank into a gaping hole, and countless tiny rocks burst open. A storm of randomly drummed energy swept outward. Quickly point all the super cameras at the ring. Perform a capture. The conference host first reacted, and hurriedly shouted for the officers to set up the camera, and quickly ran to the large LCD monitor next to the side to watch the look. Unfortunately, the fight between Son Goku and Cell on the top was incredibly fast. The host had missed many wonderful shots, and the fight scenes shown on the display were slowed down by hundreds of thousands of times, and the live broadcast could only intercept certain clips for playback. Surprisingly, the high-tech couldn't fully reflect the battle between the two sides, which made the host both excited and regretful, like beating his chest. Look, now is the battle between Mr. Son Goku and Cell, because their movements are too fast, so the naked eye cannot capture. These are high-tech processing to slow down hundreds of thousands of times movement of the battle screen, but even so their movements are still fast and fierce. The host pointed to the flashing duo on the screen and spoke with excitement, his cheeks turning a little red with excitement. These were the fights he had been waiting for. The audience in front of the screen all over the world saw the battle scene of Son Goku and were dumbfounded and stunned. The action was slowed down by hundreds of thousands of times, but it was still so fast, which could not be seen with the naked eye without the use of high technology. The world boiled over at once. Son Goku's powerful let them greatly encouraged. There were still people like him on Earth with such terrifying strength, and then there was a strong sense of wonder and longing. In a very short time, Son Goku's power was deeply rooted in people's hearts. After actually seeing the strength of a martial artist, people became enthusiastic about martial arts. Son Goku! Son Goku! Son Goku! Son Goku! Snap! Snap! The host was commentating when another change occurred in the arena. Skip! Skip! Switch directly to the instant fight screen. The host shouted. This time he was excited about Son Goku and Cell fight. It was troubling that every detail of these shots was a wonderful part, and now it was heartbreaking to skip so easily. The good thing was that the video data were stored in real time, a little relief. The image reproduced on the screen was Son Goku's body dive, like a missile about to hit the target straight toward Cell. The latter, however, Cell had a sneer of mockery on his face and his face was fearless. As he was about to make contact, an iron fist was clenched and attacked Son Goku violently. Flash! Looking at the other side clearly punched the iron fist, Son Goku instantly decisive response. The body lightly avoiding Cell's return attack, his hands on the ground continuously backward to do a dozen backflips. Humph, Son Goku, this time you are too late. An icy voice rang out. The dark green figure of Cell appeared in front of him, Son Goku's face changed slightly, amazed at the speed of the opponent. Compared with the previous tentative exchange of blows, it was like two people. The light in his eyes flashed, quickly mobilized his posture. His arms were tightly braced and crossed in front of his chest, and he was ready to resist Cell's heavy blows. Dang! Like a yellow bell, his body shook slightly, and a strong whirlwind radiated out from the point of impact in all directions, immediately creating a gale of wind and waves. Hiss! A strange smile crept onto his face, Son Goku bellowed, his body flipped back, his hands into claws to grab the ground. Tom-tom snort. His 10 fingers poked into the ground, the hard granite slab was immediately scratched out of 10 tiny holes, while at the same time he hoofed his body over sideways, 2 feet straightened, forcefully kicked out with full force against Cell. Damn! Cell's face changed, it was too late to dodge. Bang! There was a bang, the area of the stone slab grasping hands turned into fine dust. Cell's chest was hit hard, the whole person was kicked high into the air by a huge force. But... stop! Cell's body was firmly fixed in midair as his arms opened. Ha, this is the chance. Son Goku calculated the timing, the body sprang up, also flew into the air. The thin air blowing cheeks, because the speed was extremely fast like a knife cut, it was good to have the chi flame for protection. From the bottom up Son Goku rushed head on, both hands shone with a light blue light. Kamehameha. A wave of Qi Gong emitting blue light shot straight out, the blue wave of Qi Gong raging like an angry roaring dragon, unstoppable rushing towards Cell. Seeing the approaching Qi wave, Cell's golden pupils shrank slightly, his eyes narrowed slightly, and a faint cold smile crept onto his cheeks. In full view of everyone, he raised his arm and swung it, hitting the chakra wave with one arm, surprisingly sending the turtle school chakra flying along a 90-degree angle. That's all. You're too happy. Son Goku bizarrely appeared behind him and aimed a violent blow at his back. Across the 2 beetle-like wing flaps, violent impact poured into the torso from behind. Cell's face changed, his handsome face was instantly distorted, cold and piercing murderous aura erupted, and his eyes cast at Son Goku were full of murderous intent. A bitter smile, turned around, chilling power converged on the fist, forcefully smashed towards Son Goku. The sky seemed to explode a gorgeous lotus flower, the wrong isobaric line curved and spread out. Son Goku fell fast, the limbs support the ground granite has immediately cracked under the huge impact, the center of the martial arts stage appeared an arc of subsidence, the impact of the shock wave passed along the surface of the ground, making tiny stones burst out, such as falling fireworks across the air tom-tom sound of breaking, leaving a vacuum of splash track. Son Goku and Cell re-entered the ring and confronted each other. This is so wonderful, the match has just started, and Mr. Son Goku has shown us astonishing and terrifying power. This is the strength of the Earth's martial artists. The host shouted loudly with tears in his eyes. Those TV crews were already stunned, and the reporter foolishly asked Satan, Mr. Satan, they sent out rocket launchers from their hands, are these really not barricades? Shouldn't it be, right? Satan held his chin and his face stiffened. He participated in the World Martial Art Championship and had never seen such a perverted character, capable of generating rocket launchers from his hands, unheard of. Although the discussion over here was light, it was still heard by many people present. When the blonde host saw those fools still talking one after another about what rocket launcher, he was immediately upset. That was a martial artist's key wave, don't insult their legendary skills. The world first martial arts tournament had really lost a lot of martial arts in the past few years, and the host felt the need to popularize the martial artist's key wave for everyone. Picking up the microphone, he said, Mr. Goku issued a strange energy shock. It is not a rocket launcher, that is a senior martial artist's move, called Ki Wave. Mr. Goku learned from Master Roshi, this move is called Kamehameha. It's a special of Turtle School's disciple to release the ki out of the body. There are two basic conditions for performing the Kamehameha, one is the Kamehameha luck and the other is to have enough ki in your body. Mr. Goku also once performed an even more powerful move at a martial arts meeting, the Kaioken. Similarly, the Tien Shinhan contestant and others also have their own masterpiece. Ki Blast and Flight is also not to be underestimated, as well as Mr. Krillin's Solar Flare, Mr. Yamcha's Spirit Ball, are all great big moves. The host recounted the information he knew bit by bit, listening to Satan and the others. I'm the champion of the World Martial Arts Championship, how come I don't know what martial artists call ki? Satan retorted in disbelief. The host despised a little, the real martial artists did not care to participate in World Martial Arts Championship, the World Martial Arts Tournament was what they were after. He remembered that at the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament there was once a World Martial Arts Championship seated participant in the tournament, and actually tried to use despicable means to attempt to make Son Goku miss that tournament. Are all the guys from the World Martial Arts Championship that shameless? The strongest Mr. Satan, how do you compare yourself to King Chappa, the master of martial arts back then, and Mercenary Tao, the world's #1 killer? I am not their opponent. Satan was immediately speechless. King Chappa and Mercenary Tao's fame he had naturally heard of. When they were active, he, Satan, was just a little man with no reputation. Even now that he had become the World Martial Arts Championship, Satan did not think he could beat Mercenary Tao and King Chappa. Strong people like them are only able to use the ki in their bodies and cast cave waves, which shows the difficulty of performing these big moves, which are not very common in reality, and it's normal that you don't know about ki waves. You know, King Chappa and Mercenary Tao, they lost to the teenage Mr. Goku many years ago, and did not last a single move before losing. Satan froze for a moment after hearing this, and could not help but feel demoralized. It turned out that he who always considered himself invincible in the world had not even entered the gates of martial arts. Seeing that Satan did not speak at once, the crowd did not dwell on the so-called forgiveness. Satan was certainly a bit arrogant, but in addition to the essence of some small shameless, there was no big evil, and even sometimes seemed too simple. On the battlefield, Cell's eyes were like a torch-locked Son Goku. His neck twisting, cackling, sound, Son Goku, the preparatory activities end here, next it comes out the real thing. Son Goku blandly stared, did not say anything, but the corners of the mouth curved a smooth arc. The heart secretly said, this guy is more difficult than I thought. If not careful, I may be cleaned up by him, but this is interesting. With the follow-up troops, Son Goku had no worries at all. In this way, he took this encounter with Cell even more as a rare competition battle. The stronger the enemy, the better. Son Goku wanted to defeat the enemy with his own power and would never want to use the power of others. The fight to the death only now began. I wonder if Goku can defeat the lightning form of Cell. Krillin's gaze began to stare, the two people in the field changed steeply, and he realized that both sides were ready to take out the real strength. Trunks said with unblinking eyes, Mr. Son Goku is so calm and unhurried, he should have more certainty. Wait, you guys said the battle has just begun. What about the previous ones? As the host, how can he miss such sensitive news? So he stood far away. He trotted over. Of course, that was just a little warm-up exercise. Both sides did not show their real skills. Did you see even a single injury on them? After Krillin said this, the host realized that the two people on the field were not really injured except for some torn clothes. Then there was a burst of joy. So Mr. Goku has become so powerful, this is more interesting. The TV was still live, and the host came to the camera red-faced and cheerfully reported the information he had just received, then gulped and watched the next battle with anticipation. Pop, bam. Son Goku gathered his arms, clenched his fists, crossed them over his chest, and then fought to throw energy, and he released all of a sudden, the collected fierce energy at once. The gales suddenly rose, and at the beginning of the chaos, the golden flames rose to the sky, and the powerful ki that was as strong as a broken bamboo swept out and spread out from the ring at once. In a moment, the wind raged, sand dazzling, fierce gale couldn't stop blowing over. Under the gale, people had to close their eyes tightly. The earth seemed to shake. A doomsday-like atmosphere was born. Satan and others were even worse, directly prostrate on the ground, shivering. The wind dispersed, Son Goku wrapped around the burning golden flame, with his golden hair rushing up to the sky. This is the strength of Son Goku. Android 18's face was shocked. Vegeta's face changed. Kakarot surprisingly has been so strong. Remarkable, Mr. Son Goku is extraordinary. This strength, I'm afraid, has touched the Super Saiyan 2 realm. No, Mr. Goku may still have something to hide, and this is not necessarily his full strength. Trunks murmured, the heart more and more excited. It's really worthy of Goku. Krillin grinned, smile overflowing. Cell coldly snorted, his eyes calmly watched with a joyful look, and his hand pointed, this is interesting, Son Goku, watch me crush you a little. Suddenly, Cell's body burst out of the powerful aura not inferior to the Son Goku. Two figures were shining with rich light as if they were a blinding light source as he was standing on top of the martial arts ring. That guy Cell did not show his real skills, planning to play with us one by one. Maybe that's it. Cell has the Saiyan gene in him, and even inherited the Saiyan's proud character. Android 17 said disdainfully. Even if Goku was defeated, we still have Ayaba and Ayaka here. Does Cell have the confidence to defeat them together? Krillin said in disbelief. Android 18's blue eyes swept around. Cell is going to fall on his face at night. He has only seen Ayaka's Super 2 form, but he doesn't know Ayaka's exact strength, and he got arrogant after evolving into his lightning form. Right. Arrogant. Ayaba said fiercely. Ayaka shook her head and smiled gently. Her clear face turned to the ring, but in her heart, she secretly pondered, lightning form Cell is indeed not enough to fear, but what exactly does that silver-haired girl mean? By the change, is there a new enemy? I couldn't rule out that possibility. It was better to be prepared as early as possible. For a time, Ayaka's eyes shake through the penetrating light, full perception of everything surrounding. A circle of perception fell, except for a few people on their own side in Cell's aura. There was nothing else that existed. Snap! With a pat on the head, she suddenly thought of the ordinary people on the side. The energy exploding out from Goku and Cell's battle later was not something they could withstand, and with a flip of her palm, a small crystal-clear palace appeared. Ayaka pulled over the host, whispered a few instructions, and then the Ice King Palace growing larger, greeted everyone into it. With the strength of the Ice King Palace, blocking the storm generated by Cell and Goku battle was enough. So the Dragon Ball warriors and Android 16, 17, and 18 walked into the palace one by one, and the host and his camera team, knowing the danger outside, moved their equipment to the inside of the palace and shot outward through the palace's main hall. At this point, however, Satan and the idiot TV crew were still standing outside, dumbfounded. "Mama, I'll get them in." Ayam said as she raised her small hand to behave. After getting Ayaka's approval, the young girl took a step out and flashed to Satan's side. Then gave them each a slap under their stunned gaze. Swoosh! 7 or 8 figures flew through mid-air and fell down to the door of the palace. "Mama, I'm done," I.M. said with a cheeky grin, oblivious to how crude and miserable her way was. Ayaka smiled and nodded, satisfied. The encounter with Satan was unconcerned, and his gaze focused on looking outside. Outside, the ring was changing rapidly. Son Goku had begun to fight with Cell again. Perhaps because the two had put the air pressure about the same reason, it was difficult to fight without winning or losing. Two people moved very fast, kept attacking. The sky lit up with a flash of impact thunder, a circle of rapid shock waves spread. Cell abruptly appeared in a high altitude in the sky, fixed his body, aimed at Son Goku to release a super-strong ki wave. Light blue energy was generated in the blink of an eye from the hands that reached forward, which was as thick as a bucket of water, came at an incredible speed, and went to the Son Goku in front of him in the blink of an eye. Son Goku's face slightly changed, but not too much anxiety. The body quickly flashed, but Cell's attack was too fast, already difficult to avoid. A little negligence in the battle could make one fail, and he was not prepared to resist. Taking the unnecessary damage, he had no choice but to launch the instant transmission. The light blue, bright dazzling energy broke through the clouds, through the original location of Son Goku, shooting out toward space. Son Goku appeared on Cell's side after the instant transmission, hooked his foot, and struck Cell in the face, sending him flying. Whoosh! He continued to move, constantly striking out, making powerful attacks all the way to the speeding figure. Boom! A fist smashed down, the ground shook, a deep crater in the shape of a man appeared, and Cell was knocked down nearly 100 meters deep into the ground. The earth cracked, and the granite slabs above splattered like loose flour. With a soft chant, a cluster of figures suddenly stood on the cratered martial arts stage. Cell re-stood in front of Son Goku. Gently wiping away the blood from the corner of his mouth, maintaining his usual bland smile, his golden pupils bursting with blazing killing intent. "What's going on? My ki wave can obviously hit you. How come you suddenly appeared next to me?" he asked indifferently. "This move is called instant transmission, and it's still quite practical." Son Goku did not hide and told the truth. "Then it is difficult. I can only destroy you and the earth together, but to be honest, I will not do that as a last resort, and that would be meaningless. Hey, do you think you can destroy the earth? You just try." Having said that, his brow couldn't help but lock up. He didn't believe that Cell was capable of destroying the enhanced earth, but if he really did, a large number of humans would surely die. Mr. Goku stopped. "Look at the situation, Mr. Goku still has the upper hand. Let's continue to cheer for Mr. Goku. I hope he quickly defeats that demon Cell." The host saw that the battle had stopped a little and hurried to comment on the battle just now. However, he knew that his eyesight was not as high as the martial artists around him and asked them for advice from time to time while commenting. It was an excellent way to compare the brief and intense battle scene. In the air, the two suddenly stopped. "Oh, fighting with you is indeed interesting, but my target is not only you. It's already competed, and it's time to end this fight and see my real strength," Cell said lightly as he stood tall and moved his wrist. "Really, that's interesting." Son Goku coldly glanced at. "Well, the good show will begin." Cell had a wicked smile, the ki steeply turned up, and a muddy, thick pressure mixed with dust spread around. The smoke cleared, Cell's whole body was dazzled with golden flames, and a silver arc of electricity kept flashing. Releasing his energy at full strength made him extraordinarily free, and looking at Son Goku, he could not help but laugh arrogantly. So strong. With his face strained, Son Goku felt that the power coming from the other side had far surpassed his own, and every pore in his body began to tremble. Lightning form of Cell, it looks like Goku is not his opponent," Krillin exclaimed. Ayaka glanced at him, "A little peace and quiet, give Goku a little time, even if not hostile to him is very beneficial." Scratching his head awkwardly, Krillin smiled a little. "This is the lightning form of Cell. It's really powerful. This kind of powerful surprisingly made me, who was so far away, feel trembling." Vegeta's face was ugly. Although he heard that Cell had a stronger lightning form, after seeing it with his own eyes was still deeply shocked. The perfect Cell still ravaged himself. Along with his own strength, Cell was not even in place. He upgraded a level into the lightning form and became even more terrifying. Trunks, of course, saw the forehead sweat of his father, sighed, and said, "Compared to Cell's ki, Mr. Goku is not all without the possibility of winning. He still firmly believes that Son Goku still has hidden strength." "What's going on?" Cell had been transformed in the ring, and his whole body was wrapped in lightning. Looking at Mr. Krillin's grave look, it seemed that the opponent had become even more powerful. The camera was tightly focused on Cell on the stage and then swung over Krillin and the others. The host handed the microphone to the dark-haired teenage girl, Android 17, next to him and asked, "Miss, do you know what's really going on up there?" Android 17 oblique glance with impatient face, but considering that the live broadcast was now underway, she stroked her hair to reveal a smile. Her crisp voice rang out, "Previously, Son Goku emitted golden light all over his body in a state called Super Saiyan. After transforming into a Super Saiyan, his power level will be very terrifying. Just now, Cell did another transformation on top of this, which is now the flashing state, and the strength immediately multiplied several times." "Ah. So that Cell has become stronger, Mr. Son Goku is sure to defeat?" "I don't know." Android 17 stopped talking. The host truthfully announced the news obtained, and a strong reaction rolled around the world for a moment. "This young lady, what do you mean by Super Saiyan? Is there any measurement of the power level you are talking about?" Seeing that the brunette had no intention of answering, the host turned her aim to Android 18 next to her. Android 18 smiled blandly and pointed to Son Gohan, Ayaka and others and said, "Saiyans are a rare warrior race. Those with blonde hair and blue eyes shining with golden light are Super Saiyans. This transformation is a masterpiece in terms of bloodline, others cannot learn, and Son Goku and Cell both know this transformation. Some emit a white glow are powerful martial artists on Earth. As soon as you reach a certain level, you can exude your ki, use ki waves, and such. Like this Android 18 demonstration, the fingertips shine up a few peanut-sized balls of light, aimed at the open space outside with a swoosh shot. Tom-tom. The rocky ground suddenly emerged several black deep caves, the mouth of the hole with green smoke, a few hot lava rolled out. Gulped. If this hit on the human body, would not it immediately be killed? The host was a little brighter. After all, he had seen big scenes, but Satan and the TV crew turned white with fear. The host excitedly took the microphone, "Viewers in front of the TV, this kind of ki wave was powerful. I'll continue to ask Miss Android 18 to explain." Android 18 smiled, took over the microphone just like another host. Power level can be said to be a measure of energy. Although not necessarily accurate, it also responds to a certain extent to the strength and intensity of the individual. This time, the strongest participants in the Cell game have at least tens of millions of power levels. Cell on stage should be more than 10 billion energy. What about me? As soon as Satan heard the power level, he had confidence. Although he couldn't compare with those perverts, as a strong person who broke 14 layers of bricks, this was at least a few million. Android 18 looked away in contempt and disdain. Satan obviously misunderstood Android 18, and his amused brain started to think again. Maybe he had the same power level as them. No, he could not do as much damage as they did, a little more down, no millions, hundreds of thousands for sure. Miss Android 18, Mr. Satan is a world martial arts champion. I think he must not be weak. Comrade reporter asked. Android 18 laughed. King Chappa and Mercenary Tao only had 100 points of power level. How strong is the world's strongest Satan? You can think for yourself. How could this be? The gang had at least tens of millions of people. How could they only have 100 points? Satan could not turn a corner for a moment and thought for sure to put himself and Mercenary Tao to a height. It was too shameless. Iam couldn't look past it and coldly snorted, the minimum power level to release a Qigong wave is 100. You don't even know what a Qi wave is. How much power level can you have? So, Mr. Satan is really weak. The host lamented. While they were talking, the scene in the ring changed unpredictably, and Cell, who had transformed into his lightning form, was overwhelmed, completely overpowering Son Goku. Leisurely walking in the ring, suddenly a flash of a fist knocked on the Son Goku's abdomen, and then a fierce blow to the back. Pop! The martial arts ring shattered another large piece. Son and Goku's face was ugly, snapping his head up to look at the sky. An eye-catching and dazzling ball of light formed in the air. What is that ball of light? The host was wearing sunglasses, and just as the words fell, he saw the Dragon Ball warriors' faces change one by one. Not good. Cell is going to enlarge the move, judging from the scale of the energy, he is ready to destroy the whole venue together. What? The host widened his eyes, only then remembered that he had retreated to the middle of the palace. Speaking of the heart in the throat and put back into the stomach, Satan and others, however, had some anxiety and asked, then are we safe here? It should be safe, Krillin said uncertainly. His face went white for a moment. Understanding the intention of Cell, Son Goku felt something pressed against his chest. The next moment, he rose up in the air like a rocket and tried to stop the other side. Seeing Son Goku scampering over, Cell's eyes lit up and sneered, Son Goku, follow the ring and destroy. Swoosh! A huge energy ball with a diameter of 100 meters suddenly enlarged and fell from high in the sky. Seeing the energy ball fall, Son Goku's eyebrows twitched as he set his body and launched his own attack against the energy ball. Kamehameha. The light blue Ki wave rose to the sky, aimed directly at the giant energy ball. But Son Goku's Kamehameha was still no match for Cell's spirit bomb. After the two collided, Kamehameha was completely swallowed up, and the giant energy ball still swooped down with great momentum. He was heavily smashed into the Cell game ring. Boom! 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 The deafening explosion disturbed every molecule in the air, shaking the eardrums of everyone present vaguely painful. The earth shook violently, not far from the collapse of the mountains a spectacular mushroom cloud like a large hydrogen bomb explosion to the clouds. Violent shock waves swarmed, and tremendous energy wrapped in astonishing power stirred up the world. The sky and earth were muddy for a time. They could not tell where the sky was and where the earth was. Everyone was dumbfounded in front of the TV, rubbing their eyes, unable to believe that all this was man-made destruction. It's horrible. This is the strength of Cell, the end of the earth has really come. Mr. Son Goku is all right, that terrifying explosion. Was Mr. Son Goku able to carry it? I'm wondering how Satan saved his life before. Cell is so strong, and he didn't care about Satan's provocations. Bless Mr. Son Goku, be safe and sound. The thick smoke dispersed, the earth was calm. The original location where the ring was located has turned into a bottomless, deep, dark, and huge pit. The entire venue disappeared, and the surrounding rock layer still emitted a searing heat, with some semi-molten state of magma flowing slowly. Such amazing destruction, is Goku okay? Krillin looked around uncertainly. Just now, the blow was too strong. If the earth had not been strengthened, it might have penetrated the core of the earth. I'm not sure. He should have dodged it, right? Well, it's Goku's ki. He's at high altitude. Piccolo raised his head to look at the empty clouds. When the crowd heard the words, they raised their heads up. High in the sky, there was indeed a black dot, and it was Son Goku. Ah, great, Mr. Son Goku is unharmed. He avoided the attack just now. It's just that the ring has disappeared. How should we proceed with the next match? The host announced loudly, carrying the microphone. Hey, the power is good. If not for instant transmission, I really cannot dodge. Son Goku's face was serious. Lightning form Cell, the strength is extraordinary. If I do not go all out against him, I really cannot win. *T, the great disaster is still deep. Really disgusting. Vegeta hummed disdainfully. What does Goku means? Has he not yet shown his true strength? Gohan, has your father ever shown his full strength in front of you? Son Gohan was confused. I don't know, but Dad's ki hasn't diminished at all. Trunks were excited. Great. As I guessed, Mr. Goku must have hidden his strength, and maybe he has reached the Super Saiyan too. Damn Kakarot, he really improved much. Vegeta's face darkened. Every time when he thought he could surpass Son Goku, he always found that he was a big step ahead of himself again. This inability to catch up with the chase was very depressing, making him particularly uncomfortable. Cell coldly looking at Son in the air. Goku, calmly said, you are saying that before is not your full strength? Cell's gloomy look sweep, laughing, now the ring has disappeared, then the whole earth is the battlefield. I want to use this spacious playing field. Will kill you one by one. Son Goku's eyebrows moved, he took a few deep breaths, and suddenly made every effort to roar. The surging ki immediately burst out, a light golden glow like twisted lines, suddenly pulled by a gust of wind straight to the periphery spread. The thick smoke dissipated, Son Goku surrounded by silver electric aura, his golden hair rises to the sky, the edge of the clothing fibers become straight because of electric thunder. This is Son Goku's ki. Everyone dumbfounded. The silver electric light entwined Super Saiyan, this without a doubt was the Super Saiyan second stage. Ayaka nodded with a look of understanding. Goku has indeed reached Super Saiyan 2. Cell was a little stunned at Son Goku's change, his golden pupils tightened fiercely, and his face swirled gloomily. Son Goku's strength greatly exceeded his expectations, this Super Saiyan 2, almost on par with him. To say that among the people present, only Ayaka, Cell had not seen her fight. It was not easy to judge, but it seemed to be stronger than Son Goku. In this way, Cell found a very unfavorable factor for himself. As soon as possible I need to kill Son Goku, and then defeat those two women. Thinking, Cell no longer hesitating, he sprinted all the way towards Son Goku, the palm constantly releasing powerful energy attacks. Boom boom boom. The sound of explosions incessantly. Son Goku lightly danced his body, moving in various open spaces. Although Cell's attacks were close and swift, he cleverly dodged them. Pop, pop, pop. The two exchanged blows hundreds of times in the air, the same power level, fast and powerful movements, deadly moves. All kinds of flying sand and stones splashed around like freshly shot cannonballs, thumping out one deep hole after another on the ground. Boom! Son Goku punched over. Cell moved very quickly to rest with his arm on his chest. The impact of the recoil let the two fly backward hundreds of meters. Son Goku did dozens of backflips in the air, his feet firmly on the ground, and then, swoosh, forward. The earth suddenly sank like a huge force. The instant impact caused the surrounding flame and the earth to in contact with an unprecedented explosion. Son Goku, accelerated by the impact of the explosion, quickly flashed to the side of Cell, smashing a fist down. Humph! His face was tight. The body quickly flipped sideways. Cell single-handedly grabbed the ground. Immediately the ground was grabbed out by a large hole. The hard rock was like tofu being grabbed up by a large piece, his arm's force, bounced away by force. Boom! Son Goku's iron fist fell, the earth collapsed, everything within 100 meters in diameter immediately turned into pieces. The horror of the shock wave was like a lotus flower in full bloom passed through the surface of the earth, cracking complex interlocking lines at once. The earth shook violently. Although the crowd in the Ice King's palace had the protection of the palace, they also felt the terrifying energy raging outside. The blonde host exaggeratedly looked at the screen. The excitement could not be expressed in words. So powerful, this is the strength of Mr. Goku.